Okay, let's open up our Bible in the book of Nehemiah. We have two more subjects to tackle on the book of Nehemiah. After that, we'll go jump into Malachi, and we're done with the Old Testament. Okay. So far we have discussed from Genesis, the book of Genesis, up to the book of Nehemiah. But take note into consideration that we are doing chronological order, not the way the Bible is arranged. Okay, so at the timeline right now, it is coming back of the Israelites to the Promised Land or to Jerusalem, and there are three waves of coming back to the Promised Land. One was when Zerubbabel, okay, it was done on, let me see if I could still have on the previous, okay, 538 BC, and then the second wave was with Ezra, which is a priest and a scribe, on 467 BC, which is the temple, the building of the temple, and then 454 BC, which is Nehemiah, which is the third wave building of the walls. Okay, in between the Ezra and Nehemiah, we also discussed the book of Esther, which coincides or which is on the timeline at that time where the temple was built. So we can see the timeline. Zerubbabel came back to Jerusalem, and then Ezra, and then during the time of Ezra, when the temple was built, it was on the Esther. So you can fit in those things. Okay, after Esther is Nehemiah. So we discussed last week about Nehemiah, and we said that there is something that we can learn from Nehemiah, which is his leadership technique. Okay, we learned that he is a good leader because he would be able to get people together, okay, encourage the people together to build something. Okay, remember that he has to deal with a king, which is an unbeliever, although God always have control of everybody. He has control of Artaxerxes, which is the king at that time. But still, okay, he has to deal with that situation. He got to deal with other people. He got to deal with his own people. That the dream or the plan to build the wall. Okay, so we saw that on last last study. Now we are doing chapter 4 of the book of Nehemiah. Okay, in chapter 4 of the book of Nehemiah, we can see how Nehemiah rebuilt the walls. Okay, it's interesting to know because not only we can apply the principle that he used to build the walls, we can apply it also in our families, in our relationships, everything that we have. Okay, one point or another, we are builders. Okay, so as a family, we build a family. Okay, as a community, we are part of the community also. We are in a constant building. Okay, so building program, if you can say it. Okay, so we'll start on chapter 4, verse 1. Okay, it says in there, "But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth and take great indignation and mocked the Jews." So in spite of the things that Nehemiah already got the letter from the king Artaxerxes to rebuild the wall, he got the materials, he got everything going, that he finally was able to build it. Okay, still the enemies of Israel are into it. Okay. Verse 2, "And he spake before his brethren in the army of Samaria, and said, What do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned?" So in here, we can see the opposition from the opposition to the Israelites. Say, hey, what do they care? They did not care about the city that was in ruins. They didn't care about the temple. They didn't care about anything. Okay, and yet they are so angry with the Israelites because they're building it. Okay, instead of be happy with those people that are rebuilding this city, okay, They are against it. Just like what we have right now. Okay, a lot of people are not happy with what the Christians are doing. Okay, but hey, if that affects you so much that you don't believe in God or you don't believe in what we believe, it's just that, hey, why are you're so affected by it? Same thing with here with Sanballat and those people around the Israelites. They were so affected by what the Israelites are doing. Okay? Verse 3, now Tobiah, another adversary, the Ammonite, was by him, and he said, even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. So they're mocking the Israelites. Hey, they say that, hey, that wall that they build is not so sturdy. It's not a fortress, or it will not do them anything. Okay? Verse 4, hear, O God, for we are despised, and turn the reproach upon their own head, and give them for a prey in the land of captivity, and cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee, for they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. So build we the wall, and all the wall was joined together in the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. So what's going on right here, right now is, hey, there are oppositions to the building of the wall. They have enemies, but at the same time, Nehemiah said, hey, I'm not going to be bothered by those people. Okay? I'm not going to be bothered by those people that say, hey, I cannot build a wall, or this wall will not be suffice, or it's not sturdy enough, or things like those. Okay? Everything that the opposition have been saying, what did Nehemiah said? Hey, Lord, take care of the opposition. Okay? In our Christian life, sometimes we encounter such oppositions. Okay? The society right now is against what we believe. Okay? Just like the time of Nehemiah also right here. There will be oppositions in everything that we do. Everything that we do, not every people will be happy about it. Okay?
Like after victory, don't expect the enemy to stop.
Mhm.
Like what happened here, So we have to constantly react to the attack like Nehemiah. It's not our battle, it's the battle.
Yes, it's true. And notice verse 6. Okay, verse 6 says, so build we the wall, and all the wall was joined together in the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. So what is it saying right here? Hey, there is unity on the Israelites. They are not thinking about the opposition. They're not thinking about all those things that are being said about them. They are thinking about the work. They are thinking about, hey, what can I contribute? Instead of bringing somebody down, they're bringing everything up. Okay? That is how the Israelites are working right now. Okay? They are in unity. Their mind is, hey, I got to build a wall. Remember last week we discussed about, hey, we do not, or we should not lose focus on the task at hand. Okay? What was the task at hand when Nehemiah last week? To build the wall, right? That was the task. Okay? The same thing when he told the task to the people agreed to do the tasks. So their minds is not on the opposition. Their minds is not on the things that will discourage them, but their minds is what? To work and build the wall. Okay? A lot of people would say, hey, you need to raise your family this way or that way. Okay? You need to not tell your kids the no, because when you say no, they will be discouraged. That's how the society tells us how to rear our kids. Or you cannot spank your kids. Okay? But does that prevent us from doing what the Bible says about building? Okay. That should not be the case. We should not lose focus at hand. So in here we can see the commitment that the people have. The commitment that the Nehemiah have to build the wall, the commitment of the people of the Israelites to build the wall. Nothing could stop them because their minds are on building the wall. So there is commitment. Another thing that they have is they work together. Remember on verse 6, it says the people had a mind. He didn't say, hey, the people had a few in their mind. Okay? It's a singular, right? For the people had a mind to work. So that means there is unity on the work. Okay, the people and the Israelites to do the work. Another thing is these people right here, okay, because it says there, for the people had a mind to work, everybody is willing to work. Okay? Not only a few people will be working, not only people are doing this or that, and the rest of the people will rest. No, everybody has to work. Okay? So that's how they are building the wall. Verse 7, but it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up and the breaches began to be stopped, that they were very wroth, and conspired of all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God and set a watch against them day and night because of them. So they are working. They got their minds on building the wall. Okay. Aside from that, they are relying on God. It says in there, they are in constant prayer to God. Okay. That's the most important thing on building. Okay. In building our families, we need God. In building relationships, we need God. Okay. The Israelites recognize it. Nehemiah recognized it. All those people recognize it. So we need also to recognize it that we need God. Aside from that, okay, it says in there, and set a watch against them day and night because of them. In order for us to build, first we need to rely on God. We have the mindset to build. Another thing that we need to do is to be watchful. Okay. Why do we need to be watchful when building? That we be confident that what we're building is up to standards. Those people, if you watch people, those architects and those engineers that work on buildings, what do? Every time they finish something, they focus and redo, or not redoing, but compare it to the standards. Okay? They always check themselves, right? And where are they checking themselves into? Or what standards are they checking into? The blueprints, right? So, like for example, they erected a foundation, and then some engineers or quality control would go in and check if that construction is good and up to standards, right? And they check the blueprints in order for those that they will be satisfied with the standards, right? How about building Christian families? How do we do Christian families? Building Christian families. Same thing. Okay? We go forward. We do not lose focus. We don't listen to the distractors, but rather go forward. At the same time, we always consult the blueprint. Okay? Just like when we build, we always consult the blueprint. Make sure it is up to par, right? Ever saw those architects or those carpenters with those instrument where they have a bubble at the lever, right? The level. Why do you think they use it? That to make sure that it is straight, right? Without a checkpoint, they cannot be assured that what they're doing is right. In building a Christian life, we need also a checkpoint. Okay? We need to check the blueprint. And what is the blueprint on building our families? It's right here. Okay? We need to keep on going back to the blueprint. We need to keep on um, setting the standards based on the standards that was set for us. Okay? That is how we build. Okay? Notice again on verse 9. Verse 10, and Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall. And our adversary said, they shall not know, neither see, until we come, and in the midst among them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease. And it came to pass that when the Jews which dwelt by day came, and said unto us 10 times, from all places whence you shall return unto us, they will be upon you. Therefore set I in the lower places behind the wall, and in the higher places I even set the people after their families with their swords, their spears, and their bows. What are they saying right now? Hey, be ready. The enemy will attack anytime. Just like in a family. Okay? Be ready. Okay? Be ready to protect your family, because the enemies will attack. In any relationship, be ready to protect it. Don't let your guards down. Just like right here, it says in there, hey, you got to have your spears, your swords, everything that you have, you need to bring it. Okay? Your guard should always be up. Just like on our relationships, it has to be up all the time. Okay? Going back to our text. Okay. 14, and I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and unto the rest of the people, be not you afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your houses. He didn't say, Nehemiah didn't say, hey, go fight for your kids, or go fight for your wives, or anything like that, or go fight for your families. But what did he say right here? Who's doing the fight? The Lord is doing the battle for them. Amen. It's not them. So we can see here that Nehemiah is trusting God. Amen. Okay? He's trusting God that, hey, if I do everything that God had told me to do on how to build, then God will do his part. Okay? All we need to do is be faithful. Okay? And to trust him. Okay? Verse 15. When it came to pass, when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and God had brought their counsel to naught, that we returned all of us the wall, every one unto his work. And it came to pass from that time forth that the half of my servants wrought in the work, and the other half of them held both the spears, the shields, and the bows, and the habergeons, and the rulers were behind all the house of Judah. So what do we have here? Okay, all the Israelites is working hand in hand. Okay, they're doing their work. One side is doing the watch. Okay, the other side is doing the wall. Okay, the ones that doing the wall is not complaining because the watchers are doing their job. Okay, so we can see here that, hey, in any relationships, in any building, okay, in anything that we do where people work together, they can accomplish everything. Okay? In unity. At the same time, they are not concerned about, hey, how come he's just doing that? Am I doing this? Okay? They're not comparing themselves to somebody else, but their focus is, hey, this is the task that I was given. This is the task I will be doing. Okay? If I was the task of building the wall, then that is the task I will be doing. I would not mind those guys who was guarding me because their task was to guard me. So every concern was, hey, focus on the task. Okay? Never compare yourselves to the work of others. Okay? There is a different path for each and every one of us. Okay? We have to seek that path. Okay? Don't be seeking the path of others. Okay? That will be total chaos. Okay? Because isn't it that the Bible have said also that, hey, God, when He built the church, He gave some preachers, evangelists, teachers. So everything, okay, everything that we do, focus on those. If God revealed it to you to do this or to do that, focus on those things. Do not focus on others. Oh, how come that guy is doing this? He's not doing much. Hey, focus on what God had told you to do. Okay? Going back to our text. Okay. 17. They which builded on the wall, and they that bear burdens with those that laid, every one with one of his hands wrought in the work, and with the other hand held a weapon. So imagine that. Okay. They were working on the wall. At the same time, they were holding their weapons. The weapons is right there, ready for them to grab it if the enemy comes in. Okay, so they are always prepared. Okay, in the Navy, okay, we always do repetitions. Okay, when we go out of San Diego to go on the deployment, guess what? What we're doing the first night that we have? General quarters. Get those mindset, go back to war. Get those mindsets, say, hey, you are going to battle. Okay? And we keep on doing, repeating themselves, even at nights. Okay? Imagine yourselves being woke up in the middle of the night, sometimes 3 o'clock. Yeah. So, from the moment we leave casualties, we practice on how to take care of the wounded. Okay? Everything those, every practice, almost every week, okay, we have practice. We already got tired of practice, but we keep on going on. Okay? So that when the real thing comes in, it's like acting as second nature for us. Okay? You will not froze up and say fire. Okay? You know what to do because you have been practicing. These people right here, when they were building the wall, hey, they were prepared. Okay? We as Christians need to be prepared also. Okay? Have you read the news lately that children have the right to choose which sex they're going to be? That's an attack on what we believe. And yet the society is pushing that agenda. Okay. And we need to be prepared for it. Just like Nehemiah right here, when he was building the wall, he has his mind set. Okay. He has God on his side. He be praying for it, and nothing could derail him from the task at hand. Okay. Just like when we build something, we should have also that mindset, hey, this is what God had led me to do. This is where we are going based on the standards that we have. Not understand that, not the standards that we think is good, but what the Bible says the standards is. Okay, going back to our text. Okay, verse 20. In what place, therefore, you hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither, sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us, our God shall fight for us. Isn't it that the workers have the tools, the sword, the bow, everything right there where they can access it? Okay. But what did Nehemiah is saying? Hey, God shall fight for us. Okay. So he recognized, even though they have all those swords, all the weapons and everything, all those things that they are preparing for and everything that they do, it boiled down to one thing alone. God does the battle for them. We need to rely on God the same way Nehemiah and the Israelites are preparing. They're preparing everything. But the bottom line is, hey, our God will do the battle for us. Okay? 21. So we labored in the work, and half of them held the spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared. Likewise, at the same time said I unto the people, let everyone with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us in labor on the day. So neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes, saying that everyone put them off for washing. Notice in there, okay, the nobles. What usually is the nobles do? They got servants, right? The servants does everything. But look what Nehemiah is saying right here. Hey, from the nobles up to the servants, they have their job to do. Nothing is too small for everybody. Everybody has to contribute. Okay? So that is how to build something. Rely on God. Do not lose on the focus. Okay? Don't worry about others. Worry about the task. And remember that the battle is of God. That is how we build. Okay? This principle of building that Nehemiah have implemented on building the walls, it can be used also in building families. It will be used also for husband and wife relationships. Okay. How can we apply this to the husband and wife relationship? Okay. Let's see. How can we, okay? How can we apply it in a husband and wife relationship? If we want to build husband and wife relationship, the first thing that we need to do is pray to God about the relationship. Okay. Wives, pray for your husband. Husband, pray for your wives. Every morning, okay, pray for them. You know how hard it is for the man to go walk out of the house and be with the people that are unbelievers. A lot of temptations right there. So you need to be prayerful. Okay. Another thing, okay, one other principle. The principle that Nehemiah was used as, hey, pray to God. And then, what else? Relying on God. Okay, what else? What did Nehemiah do? Work together. Okay, there is a job for the woman and there is a job for the man. They work hand in hand. Okay, they work hand in hand. They work together. They respect one another. They help one another. When was the last time, men, when was the last time you did the dishes for your wives? When was the last time you did the dishes for your wives? When was the last time you did the laundry for your wives? Because look at here. In Nehemiah's time, when they were rebuilding the wall, hey, no task is so small, no task is so big. They help one another. Okay? In a family relationship, husband and wives is a tandem. It is a partnership. It's not a division of labor. Okay? Because sometimes, men would say, oh, it's not my job, the woman's job. And the woman would say, oh, it's not my job, it's the man's job, take the trash out. Right? When was the last time, okay, when you were courting your husband, or not courting your wives, when you were courting your wives, okay, you were promising them, hey, I'll give you the moon, you'll be the princess of my life, you'll be the queen and everything. Have you seen a queen doing the laundry? It should be a partnership. Okay. It should not be, hey, that's your job. Okay. If you can help, hey, go help. Just like Nehemiah is doing right here.
I wish I can cook. I wish I can cook like Brother Abner.
Another thing, okay, do not let problems, distractions disappoint you and discourage you. Okay. In a family relationship, especially husband and wives, don't expect your wives to be perfect, don't expect your husbands to be perfect. There will be times that they will disappoint you. Okay. Have you eaten something that your wife cooked that you cannot even eat, but you keep on eating it? Okay. That's what you call love, right? The thing is, okay, sometimes if we look and compare our wives or our husbands to somebody else, we end up expecting more from our husbands or our wives, that we lose focus on building a relationship between the man, the husband, and the wife. Okay. Never, never compare your husband to somebody else. Never, never compare your wives to somebody else. Okay. Because once you do, disappointment will come. Oh, how come sister so and so cook better than you are? Oh, how come this and that? Oh, the house is cleaner when she's doing it or doing that. Never do it to your husband. Never do it to your wife. Another thing that Nehemiah have done, okay, is when problem arises, where did he go to? He turned to God, right? He did not turn to his friends. He did not turn to the king Artaxerxes, but he turned to God. Okay. In a husband and wife relationship, okay, do not report your husband to your mother or your father. Okay. Do not involve anybody between you and your husband. Okay. Problem will arise because once family polarized because of what you're saying to your against your husband, hey, it's a lot more trouble than you will be expecting. Your complaints to your wives or your complaints to your husbands, tell them to your husband, tell them to your wives. Okay. Rather than tell it to anybody. Okay. Do not ever, ever compare. Do not ever, ever report. Okay. Do not tell anything bad about your husband. Oh, my husband was doing this and I hate it. Or my wife is doing it and I hate it. You know what you're doing when you tell that to your friends? You're demeaning your wife. You're demeaning your husband. Okay? You always put your task is to put your wives up elevate your wife. At the same time, wives, your job is to elevate your husband. If you are telling something bad about your husband to your friends, what do you think your friends, how they look at your husband and how they look at your wives? Sooner or later, also, once you keep on doing that, you lose respect to your wives, you lose respect to your husband. Yep. Do not let disappointment leads to discouragement. Discouragement leads to disqualifications. Next week, I thought we could finish it, but next week we'll do about chapter 8, the last lesson on the book of Nehemiah, of how the Word of God changed the lives of people. What is our reaction, or how should we react, or how should we respond to the Word of God? Okay, it is in chapter 8. Okay, so right here, just to summarize, chapter 4, how to rebuild. Number 1, okay, be committed. Okay, be committed and trust God that He will do something great. He always is and He will always have. Okay, He will do great things if we rely on Him. Work together. Okay, work together. Be available. Okay, be available, and at the same time, respect one another. Do not compare yourselves with somebody else. Okay, do not compare your husbands or your wives to somebody's husband or somebody's wife. Okay? Do not let problems cause disappointments to you, but rather go to God when problem arises. Okay? Always turn to God. Question, comments about the study? Yes, Brett. I believe it is some of the people. It may be some people that actually saying, hey, we have this problem right here. Yeah, no. Okay. Because in every situation, people would react on the task. Some people would say, hey, it's a big task. Just like right here, they're saying, hey, it's already rubbish, this, all of this. But Nehemiah was able to carve them. Nehemiah was able to inspire them to do more.
That's the key to leadership.
Mm-hmm.
When there's problems that arise, okay, we might trust God, but the practical application is, hey, let's not stop, let's continue building, but He prepares the people right here.
Mm-hmm.
How work has to be the one thing, so they respect the leadership of Nehemiah because of them. And it worked because he was able to inspire and encourage the people.
Yep. You got to remember when Nehemiah came in, the people right there, even though they're Israelites, they have been to Persia or Babylon for how many years? 70 years? Yeah, 70 years plus a couple more years. So they inherited a lot of those things that they should not be inheriting. Yes, Brad.
Well, one thing I thought about verse 16 with Nehemiah's leadership is he recognized that they are his servants, and in doing that, he took the responsibility of God accountable and took the reins of, he recognized the reins.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Oh, Pastor, could you close in order for you?
Father, thank you again for this great lesson